What's that?
I found my sweet potatoes.
Oh, good.
I bought some slips.
Just to let you know, Sheila, the camera's rolling, but do... No, it's fine. Come. Do come and tell us about your slips
Oh,
and your
right. Well,
sweet potatoes. In
sweet
fact,
potatoes.
why don't you take a pew in that chair?
I followed. Well, I looked at all the instructions, which looked a little bit complicated, but thought, well, I really could do that, but then left it too late. So I bought slips,
Yeah.
which took forever to arrive, and then they arrived, and tiny little things, but gorgeous dark purple. They're a particular type of sweet potato, which creates a long trailing vine of purple, deep purple leaves. And
if we keep getting heat like this...
They might do fine. I set them off in the greenhouse. I gave 4 to my daughter and I kept 2 for myself. And I've set them off in the greenhouse in tubs of nice compost.
Are they going to stay?
Now they're big enough and it's hot enough. God, it's so hot.
We think this is the hottest day of the year so far. Good on you.
And I've put them into hold out. You know what my plot's like.
A fairy garden. It's an adventure every time. It
was almost impossible to find 1 millimetre of space. But anyway, I hauled out a load of old brassicas and stuff and improved the soil. Found some deluged chicken manure and put that in.
I'd be interested
and they're in there
see how
now.
they do.
Yeah.
I think it's
Me
that
too.
warmth thing, isn't it?
I think it's the heat.
Yeah,
yes.
a long hot season.
And whether they've got the length of season, that's the other thing.
I suppose as we sort of go into September, October, if it's starting to look cold, you could always fleece or
something like
I know
that.
we don't like plastic, but like black plastic, like the inside of like a compost bag turned out.
Yeah.
Put the black down, sun onto
See
the
how
black.
they do. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll let you know.
Good.
Lovely to see you, Vivi.
You too. Get on with another bean art. Oh. I haven't properly said hello. Oh, and there goes Missy. I hadn't properly said hello. And obviously our Sheena's been over that, so I'm making my bean arches, obviously. Carrying on, and then, did you see? That was Monroe, Kay's cat. Where's he gone? Monroe!
He's on the shed.
Is he on my shed or that shed?
Come on!
Monroe is taking executive decisions most days to come over and get in the way of whatever I'm doing to stop me, to make me have some little rest breaks. Can I get my string, please? Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? How old is he now?
Just over a year.
He's so kittenish still. Actually, no, you're a teenager, aren't you? You're a thug. Grab my scissors. I'm determined to get... Ow! Ow! I'm determined to get this job done today. Oh
I don't
goodness.
fancy
No,
your chances.
You have that bit. I'm going over here. I need that out from under your arm. I thought, yeah, I'll do it sitting down. You know, I'll take it easy because it's such a hot day. You're going to take that... Would we have it any other way, little one? Would we? I don't want you to strangle yourself. Now you see, wouldn't it be super useful? Kate, I think you need to train him to tie knots.
He's been very helpful.
You need to train him to do useful things in the garden. I suppose it's useful to sit in my lap and stop me doing all my composting and seeding and what have you. I've lost my count now. Which way am I going?
Oh, he's off. He's off.
Oh, and so is this. Is he?
It's
Oh no, he's
underneath him.
taking it with him. Obviously, I wouldn't leave a cat unsupervised with all this string because I wouldn't want him to get it round his throat or down his throat. But I don't know that I want to get it off him. I think he might have words to say. Scorchy, scorchy, scorchio. Right, that's Monroe's. Okay, this is going to come up and over and rest here. I've got 24 of these frames to make. So far, I've done 6. Oh look, my new assistant folk ask me every year why I don't just leave them in place. Partly because they'll rot in the ground, and partly, yeah, they'll rot. And then why don't I store them complete? I've got nowhere big enough. I'm having this back. I'm having it. I feel like I've gone fishing for a cat. Is this got cat slob on it?
Yep.
Yes, got it. Oh, buddy, did I spoil your game? You know, oh.
He's off again.
If he keeps that in his mouth and then decides to run off back to your garden, there'll just be this.
Trail of string.
Oh,
I think he
what a
wants to
joy.
chew it, but he wants to sit on the tail.
What can you do other than go with the flow? Like I say, it's such a hot day. You don't want to rush anything today. Oh, is it cocktail hour yet?
No, not quite.
No, I think the girls were talking about having cocktails. I think if we all had a cocktail now, that'd be it. We'd be snoring in the sun for the rest of the afternoon. Work first, cocktails later.
Right, well, I've got tomatoes that I need to go and plant.
You go plant tomatoes. I'm going to do another 18 of these.
Right, Monroe, you going to come with me?
Monroe, leave my string, please. Thank you very much. I'd like to keep the rest of it. Oh,
Right,
thanks,
come on,
lovely.
Trouble.
See you later.
See you in a bit. Come on, let's go.
Honestly, he's like a little dog. It's so cute. He's basically walking to heel with Kay up the path. So cute. I beg that one, hadn't I? Oh, tickle, tickle. Just to say, basically all of these, I've got 8-foot canes, 2 either side, and then this, what is that? 1, 2, 3.5 foot cane across the top. Get them all made, get them sunk, and then put cross ones in to brace them. It's fierce today. You know, you can tell how hot it is today because I've got a hat on for the first time this year. Too hot. Right. 1, 2. That'll do for path number 1. And that's the next lot. Crikey. Water. I need water. Oh. Nearly done with the first row. Woohoo! Right, come on. Getting there. Slowly but surely. Oh, this isn't going to go in the gnarly bed. Oh, yeah. Jaunty angle. Wobbling you. Wobbling you, wobbling me. And so on. Water break. Water and shade break. One more. Oh, that's rock. Oh no. definitely in need of shade and water breaks today. Only mad dogs and English women. Actually, it's not even midday, it's about 2 o'clock now. It's getting to the hottest part of the day. It's not an ideal day, but it's the day I've got. Oh, my hair's everywhere as well. Yeah, it's the only day I've got to do this. So I think, again, coming back to this priorities thing, I think I've only got 2 days this week when I can, hey Rusty, come on then buddy, come and have some shade. There's only 2 days this week when I'm going to be able to get to the garden. One of those days has to be planting out the climbing beans, because I mean they're bursting out their pots. They need to get in the ground, they need to get their feet down, and they need to get going. So in terms of prioritising, like I said, preferably I'd go home right now. It's really hot. I'm going to carry on and get all the arches up, that bit you've just seen me doing, but the crossbars I put on the sides for a bit of added strength, I'm not going to do today. That can wait, because obviously with the beans only being this big, even when I put them in, I've still got room to put those crossbars in before the climbers get climbing. So yeah, prioritising, just get the arches made and in today. Also a note on pushing them into the ground. So on one side of that path, that's where my gnarly beds are. It's quite tough to get them into the ground. So I would always say, please, 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 when you're pushing canes into really tough ground, especially if they're not brand new canes, you know, when you've had your canes for a few years, they do get a bit brittle. I always hold mine one part quite low down, and the other hand is a sort of steadying, guiding hand. And although I'm putting my weight into it and I'm pushing down on it, I'm also, it's hard to describe this, but I'm also sort of bracing myself backwards so that if it should snap, it's going to go sort of here, past my shoulder, importantly past my face. I'm not going to skewer myself. Oh God, just the thought of the kind of accidents you can have. Because yeah, as you're pushing, they can easily snap. So yeah, I'm pushing, but I'm also bracing and holding back so that if it does snap, I'm hopefully out of harm's way. What a crazy year. There have been loads of folk around today. It's lovely because this morning we had our monthly work party, so there's been loads of mowing and trimming going on. Pardon me, work on the pergola continues, the community pergola. It's had some grapevines planted in next to it now, and I'll show you this as well one day, not today because there's so many folk around, but sort of our wild areas, wildlife areas. And today, for instance, with the mowing, that central path that we all use, we keep that mowed and clear. But in paths around the rest of the site, we sort of mow a path through the grass to get to the gate, but we let the grass and any of the little wildflowers or whatever do their own thing. So it's looking really pretty at the moment. I was just looking at the yellow, is it flagstaff irises that grow in ponds? We've got a big wildlife pond. They're just on their way over. I was going to photograph them and share them with you, but they're on their way over, so they look a bit rubbish for a photo, but it's still lovely to see them. Right, I'm delaying and procrastinating on, and I really shouldn't, because I think I've only got about 2 hours left here today, and well, you know by now, I just want to get this garden done. I want to get into that tinker time. Right, I'll put up the rest on that path that I was showing you. There's another 3 sets to go up. Hey Rusty. And then start making the 12 sets. 24 poles, 12 sets. Hey gorgeous boy. Oh, you're so cute. For the next path. You're going to help me, Rusty. You're getting a bit jealous of Monroe. Getting my attention. Right, back out to it. That's enough of a break. just making my last 3 sets of arches. It's 24 in total. Now, excuse me, I've had this frog all day. Some of you may be thinking, why bother, how time consuming, the old school method. Hold on a sec, let me tie that off. Most folk, including myself for a number of years, generally grow their climbing beans in one of 2 ways. Either building a wigwam, so a circle of canes, and then they're all pulled together at the top, little wigwam, teepee. The only thing with that is, as you get towards the top where all the veggies are coming, it gets really, really, really crowded. So that's not great. The other method, the one that I used to do, is imagine your rows of bean canes, maybe a row of 20 either side, interlaced at the top, and then another one slotted in at the top to sort of brace it all. That's what I did for years and years and years. However, it occurred to me, I think it was about 4 years ago when I first started doing this. It's kind of developed and modified over time. But the first year I did this, the reason for it was I used to have 3 double rows of beans, so 3 of that. In other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of bean poles, taking up 3 of my 5 mini beds in each of my main beds. So there's a lot of space because I like to grow a lot of beans because I'm veggie, beans make sense, that's my protein. One year I tried underneath the beans to do a catch crop of some sort of lettuce. It didn't do well. The thing is, the beans, once they get going quickly. So underneath, between the rows, it's really shaded and not great for growing anything else. Where can I put this without whacking all of you? Oh, down there. So I kind of felt that space underneath is wasted. And then I thought, I'm going to try and pull these out without whacking all of you. Then it occurred to me, why don't I do them either side of the path so that where they meet at the top is over the path? Because the path is kind of wasted space in so much as, you know, it's not growing space, it's just me walking along doing stuff space. So yeah, that's how the idea came up that first year. And by moving, it was the equivalent of 3 beds, 3 mini beds. By the equivalent, sorry, I'm tired, it's been so hot. By moving them to the paths, it freed up those 3 beds. And those 3 beds are what I now have my squash teepees in. I've gained a load of space by doing it this way. So, yes, undoubtedly, this bit each year is time consuming. I'm not going to get them finished today in terms of the cross bracing, as I was mentioning. But if I was to try and put all these up and do the cross bracing and plant out all the brassicas all on the same day, it's going to be 6-7 hours of work, if not more. I'm not going to get all of that done today. So yeah, it's, let's say, just putting the arches up and the cross bracing, that's probably about 4 or 5 hours of work. Bearing in mind I do have to come and stop and sit every now and again. But for the space in the garden that it frees up, to me that's well worth it. Oh, and the other thing, I can't remember if I talked about this today, I don't know, it's such a long day. Someone was mentioning the fact that I do this sitting down at the table. The first year I didn't. I put in all the upright posts and then later on went along to try and tie in the top bits. But I've only got 2 hands. You need a hand free to hold the top bit and 2 hands for doing the knotting, and besides reaching up to 7 feet to tie all the top bits in, the blood comes out your arms. It kills your arms, doesn't it, when you're tying things up above head height. So yes, look, we all garden differently. There's no right way, there's no wrong way when it's this kind of thing. Oh, trying to get past you without knocking you. You do whatever works for you. If you're really, really, really short of time, then, traditional sort of teepee or that arrangement may be a better solution for you. If you're really short of space, think about, maybe trying something over your paths, or not even necessarily your paths, but anywhere that isn't being used as growing space particularly, bit of wasted space, whatever it is. Yeah, give it a go, and hopefully once I get these all in the ground, they'll grow away beautifully, and before we know it, I'll be ducking underneath all the arches, out of the way, because they'll be dripping with gorgeous beans. Can but hope. If nothing else this year, I'm keeping hope all the time. Oh my goodness, this is getting so unwieldy. I'm going to whoopla. I need to crack on and get this done because I need to do my watering. Not all areas of the garden I had a feel. There is moisture in areas, but where there isn't, I will water. And when I do the watering on the deck of all the popped sown beans, I'll give you a shot. Bear in mind, the last time I showed them to you, I think it was about a week ago. They've gone mad. So that will be the last shot of the day, over which I shan't be speaking. So, whoopla. So I'm going to say my cheerio to you all here instead. I think this is going to be another of those days I get to the end of this session and I'm going to say it again. I'm so glad this job is done. It's not completely done, but the worst of it is not even the worst of it. The most time-consuming part of it is done now. So, whew. One day next week, planting all these beans, and once that's done, I truly will be able to go for maybe about half an hour before I start thinking about getting on top of the weeding again, because I haven't been. But as I mentioned the other day, that can come as part of a tinkering day when I tinker with me tomatoes. I can't wait. So I hope you'll join me for that when that day comes. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today, hanging out with me today. Oh, and Sheena and Kay and Monroe. It's another of those lovely days when folk are around and happy to just sit and spend time with each other for a little while. It's been gorgeous. I hope you thought so too. Alright lovelies, take care of yourselves, take care of your bean hotches, however you're doing your beans this year. Yeah. Enjoy these days whenever you can. And the cool breeze when it comes. Cheerio everyone.